Those days. I remember those days.
Hello, Vinyl Community. This is Tommy, and welcome to another musical adventure. And today's adventure is a discussion question. I want to get you guys thoughts and opinions about this, and it's kind of piggybacking off of a couple of things. And like any discussion, I'm going to rattle some thoughts off kind of randomly and just get your opinions on it. Make a video. I appreciate everyone that jumped in on my Gimme 5 debuts, great debut albums video. Those of you that have not done a video or responded, go back to the last video and check that out and do a video. There's been some great responses, and I appreciate everyone that's come on board for that. And so now I want to do a kind of a discussion question. But before I do, because it's the vinyl community, the music community, I want to show you guys something cool that I got recently and share it with you. This is from the Newport Folk Recordings label, if you will. And it is a double-sided single. And it is Son House doing Death Letter Blues, recorded live at the Newport Folk Festival in 1965. This is called Echoes Volume 1. Now, the reason it's called Echoes is because, as you'll see on the flip side, is Mr. Jack White doing Death Letter Blues live at the Newport Folk Festival in 2014. So it's kind of cool. It's a double-sided single. This was pressed at Third Man. I want to show you guys the vinyl too, because I know it's pretty cool to see. But it was pressed at Third Man on that cool red vinyl. It's kind of clear vinyl, and it's got the cool label on it. This was cut by Ryan Smith, and it sounds really good. Very cool. And so Echoes Volume 1 makes me think that they're going to do a series of these. This thing was limited to only 350 copies. So there's only 350 copies of this thing in the world, which is pretty rare. But it's very cool, and yeah, I snagged a copy and got it, and it was great, and it is great. So yeah, so there you go. That has nothing to do with the video that we're doing today, but it is something, so I thought I'd have to show something for the video. So this is a discussion regarding labels, in music labels in particular. And I've been having an ongoing discussion with a few friends, and you know who you are. I'm not going to call any names here, just because if you want to comment and jump in, please feel free to do so. But I'm not in the business of calling anyone out here, so I'm not going to do it. But there's a couple of things, and it kind of has been swimming around a little bit. But this goes back to a video Rick Beato posted a while back. And I don't know if you guys watch Rick's channel. I know it's huge, and it gets a lot of people. Rick has a lot of viewers. But he did a video where he gave his opinion. It was right on the heels of the Yacht Rock documentary that came on HBO recently. I have not seen the documentary. I know famously Donald Fagen hung the phone up on him, the director, not Rick, but the director of the film. And it stems from a comedy sketch from several years ago, the term itself, Yacht Rock. It wasn't a genre that was created or a genre that was born out of anything other than it was something that was created almost as a comedic thing. And that's where Rick took I won't say offense to it, but felt like, you know, it was kind of a bad term. And he said, I know a lot of people that work in that genre that are labeled yacht rock that he would not consider yacht rock, or that they wouldn't consider yacht rock. And I agree. I think it's very difficult when you say, okay, yacht rock is smooth, accomplished. I mean, Steely Dan and Toto are two examples. Now, to me, they're very different sounding. And so it's hard for me to distinguish. Now, I know if you have to put a label on something, then fine. I've worked in record stores where we had to put labels on things. And I remember back in the early 90s, the mid-90s, it was alternative music. And I always kind of was questionable about what alternative music was, because it was pretty much anything that was popular at that point. And I find it hard to put Radiohead in the same genre as, somebody like Pavement. It just, to me, but they both were considered alternative. So, I mean, what is that? It's very descriptive. It was an alternative to anything because it was mainstream, is what it was. But again, it's the issue with labels. Now, I get it. I think we have to have labels to sort of generally describe something. Like if you were to come to me and say, what is ZZ Top? And I would say, well, ZZ Top is a rock band. That's the first thing I would say. Well, okay, rock is a very broad term. So what is it based in? I would say Texas blues. It has a heavy sort of sound, heavy guitars, but they're not like, Metallica or something like that. And I think I would make comparisons to other artists, not necessarily other genres. Obviously you would say, well, Waylon Jennings is country. But you could say that, what kind of country? Well, it's outlaw. Well, what is outlaw country? What is yacht rock? Now, I get it that it's a broad term and it's meant to be descriptive. And if you're putting together a playlist to listen to or whatever for something to enjoy, I think it's fine. But I just have general problems when you try to slap labels onto any particular genre, because then you get into all of these subgenres and it just goes on infinitely. I've heard terms like math rock, nerd rock. I mean, what is that? I mean, what does that really mean? And so, I try to be very broad with describing stuff, and it's not because I feel like the only way for anyone to experience music is to go experience it themselves. And sort of the other side of it too is I was talking with another friend who is a viewer of this channel, and we were talking about the band Pink Floyd. And that's what really got me to thinking about this, because he mentioned that Pink Floyd, for what they were. We were talking about actually not just Pink Floyd, but we were talking about musicians in bands and how bands work together. And really The Who was the background of this conversation, because we were talking about how The Who was completely backwards, and just the way that band was based in Pete's rhythm, not in Keith and John's drum and bass, that they were doing just nutty things. But this was that they Pete's rhythm is what really the glue that held that band together. And how odd it was. I don't know that Keith Moon, I struggled for a long time that Keith Moon was a good drummer. And I've finally accepted the fact he probably is a good drummer, but I don't know that I'd want to be in a band with him, as a bass player or a rhythm guitarist, because I think it would be just, absolute insanity. It worked for The Who, and so we'll give it that. There's a reason why that band is so memorable. But and then he mentioned as an aside that that he wasn't a fan of Nick Mason's drumming, and that he felt like he was not a good drummer. And I started thinking about Pink Floyd as a unit, and I said, well, the truth is no one really listens to Pink Floyd for virtuosic playing, other than like Dave Gilmour, who obviously is a very fine guitar player. He plays a lot of great notes. And the thing is about that band, even Gilmour is not like real flashy and showy, and like, he plays really kind of within the song, and we like his tone, and we like a lot of what he does. Now, I'm not saying that he's, he can be flashy. I mean, Gilmour does really great guitar stuff. I'm a big fan of Gilmour's, but like Pink Floyd to me, like what genre do they fall under? Well, classic rock, maybe. I mean, I would tend to think that, particularly as Pink Floyd left the psychedelic thing into the 70s, that they were more progressive rock. And I mean, again, another term that we get to, well, what's progressive rock? And you think, well, progressive rock is virtuosic playing, complex arrangements, maybe classically influenced, different time signatures. It's not blues-based rock. It's more based in the playing and the individual members of the band. And I was sort of like, well, Pink Floyd may be the least proggy prog band that exists. And I started thinking about that a little more and thought, well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, they really are. I mean, when you listen to a band like Yes, or you listen to a band like Kansas, or even Rush, you listen to those bands and you marvel at the playing of the individuals that are in that band. They're making King Crimson is another example of a band. Genesis even is a band where you listen to it, and part of the appeal is that they're masters of their instrument. And so, and of course, you prog fans will probably jump all over and be like, Pink Floyd, not a prog band. I don't know. And that's, again, where labels come into problematic areas. I mean, I would argue that Pink Floyd definitely falls into more of a prog rock genre than anything else. Certainly, they don't belong with a band like Boston or Wings or even Fleetwood Mac for that for that matter. Those are great examples of bands that kind of go under the classic rock moniker. But again, Fleetwood Mac and Boston, not similar at all. I mean, again, I think labels are good in that they can be sort of guideposts and pointing to a certain direction, but it also can be problematic in that, you know, you can get way out in the weeds with it. And so what are your thoughts? I mean, labels, do you care about them? I personally don't. I think the best way to discover music is to listen to it and then react to it a certain way, just like anything, food, a movie or anything. I mean, I get that you need to put, like, this is a horror film and you kind of know what it's doing. When you put that movie on, it's designed to frighten you. Excuse me. Frighten you in some way. But labels in music, does it work? I think in a general sense they can, but overall, not so sure. Anyway, what are your thoughts on this? Feel free to comment down below. Give me your opinions on it. Tell me what you think. Make a video yourself. Make a response. Tell me I'm just completely full of nuts and just off my rocker, bat crazy, whatever you want to say. Feel free to comment on that as well. I'm glad to have you interact with the channel. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. And we've got more great content coming up. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.